Welcome back, everybody. It's time again to meet our community, the Hispanic business community here in Orange County. Powered by the Orange County Hispanic Chamber of Commerce and Orange County's only community radio station, OC Talk Radio. Streaming live from our studio here at the University of California, Irvine's Beale Applied Innovation Center with the main man himself today here, Ruben Franco's in town.
Thanks, Paul. Appreciate it. Yeah, the Orange County Hispanic Chamber podcast. It's our community podcast, and it's because our community is your community. We want to bring out what our community is all about to you. And we have a special guest today, Carol Robles, who's one of our great members of our chamber, just an ambassador for us. She's been involved in the community, not just with us, but with the NHBWA, on the board of that great Hispanic women's business organization. And she's just a fabulous person, and we enjoy having her as being part of our chamber. So we look forward to a really fun discussion. So, Carol, we always start off the podcast with just you telling us a little bit about you and your life, and just give our audience a little bit about who you are and what you do. And
all right. Well, thank you. What an honor to be here. A little bit about me. Well, I am first generation, the oldest of 4 children. So I have 2 younger brothers and a younger sister. I was raised in the city of Paramount, graduated from Paramount High School, was born in Lakewood, and it's interesting because now I'm back to the city that I was originally. But, well, I would say I come from just very, very humble beginnings. My grandfather was born in Texas, so he retired from the Air Force. He served World War II and the Korean War, and when he retired, he went out to Mexico with no intentions of just ever coming back. And in his 30s, he's retired. He had nothing better to do than to just hang out all day. So he had to come back to the U.S. after liver issues, brought all his kids. So he had 12 children.
Wow.
And he brought all his children. So my mom came here to the U.S. at the age of 13. Yeah, just hearing her story and how she was just all of a sudden exposed to a new country and reality and having to learn English. Just knowing her story and how hard she worked. She went all 4 years attended Paramount High School for all 4 years and was very involved. She was a cheerleader and super involved in school. And she shared with me how she would fundraise to be able to purchase her uniforms. So that was instilled just from learning about her, just instilled in me. So parents got married, born, and we had our siblings. And when I was 10 years old, my dad passed away in a car accident. So that was kind of where the story for me in terms of just working hard began, because knowing my mom's kind of background. But that's where things started for me, because we went from just living a regular life where dad's the provider, he was a welder. So it was regular life to now having to make ends meet. So I remember my mom, she made everything fun. That's where I get a lot of my just positive and brighter outlook, because she always looked at the bright side of things. She's a great baker, so she would bake cookies and cupcakes, and she would show us, we've got $10 and we're going to purchase eggs and butter and flour, and we're going to make $50 out of these $10, and would go door knocking and sell cupcakes and cookies, and we'd come home with tons of money. And now we got shoes. I mean, one time we raised so much money that we were able to take a trip to San Diego on the Greyhound.
Oh, wow.
And visit the zoo. And
sure.
So that's where I think that just that hard work, that ethic comes from.
And your smile, because I've known you for, 5-6 years or whatever it's been now.
Yeah.
And I don't think I've ever seen you anywhere without smiling.
Aww.
I mean, you're always smiling. So it's you bring a certain energy to everybody, which is really inspiring. So you got it from your mom, and that's really cool. So
yeah, I think that's so important. And I remember just going through that, and my mom always sharing, right? We're a blessing. This is such a blessing for someone to show up to your door with fresh bread. Oh my gosh, we would be doing a disservice if we wouldn't show up, right? Or would show up to the parks and bring an ice chest full of canned sodas for 50 cents. This is in the early 1990. And she would say, see all these guys playing soccer? They're so happy that we're here. We're bringing them. Right. They need us. So those thoughts kind of get implanted in, right? She would say things like, this isn't embarrassing. Robar, that's embarrassing. Right? To steal. We're doing something right.
Right. No, that's a great story, because I've heard that before. I don't know if you guys know Bryan Cranston, great actor on Breaking Bad. He gave a speech to a bunch of acting students, and he said one of the best things he does, people get so emotionally attached to going to an audition that, I'm not going to get the part. I'm not going to get the part. It's not about getting something. It's about giving something. And he, just like you said, he's giving them him. He's saying, I'm going to give them this. And I walk away from that. And if I get the part, great. If not, that's fine too. But I'm going to go into it with a different mindset or a different attitude about life, just like you're talking about. And it's more about a servant type leadership, right?
Oh,
Is that
100%.
it works so much better in life.
It does.
Think so. Thank you for sharing that. I think that's a great story. So tell me about your current family that you have.
So I'm a mother of two. So I have a 13-year-old little boy, and then I have my daughter who will be 12 next week.
Wow.
So they're a year and a half apart.
Sure.
My husband, who's super supportive. We've been married for 16 years. So we're polar opposites. He's in education, and he's just very reserved and mellow, but super supportive. So I love that he gives me my space to shine and be crazy.
Yeah.
Because he's who grounds me. It's what I needed.
Right.
We're excited. We've got two kids. Kids just started school today, so I've got two kids in middle school. And
Well, that's great. Well, do you guys have any hobbies you like to do as a family or yourself personally? Or
So we love to travel.
Okay.
We love to travel. Just a simple life in exchange, right? Because we're not in a place where we can have it all.
Right.
So, but just live simple to have the opportunity to travel. I think that's a huge gift, to be able to visit different countries and learn. It's just an opportunity to learn and to grow. And I think that's what travel means for us. Yeah. I've got a funny story. A couple years ago, we took the kids. So my children are in a dual immersion program. For me, it was very, very important for them to learn Spanish. Spanish was my first language. So they're in this program. And a couple years ago, we were out in Cuba. And my daughter says, Mom, do they have dual immersion pro? Because she knows that they don't have them everywhere. It's very limited. They saw how hard I worked to get them into that school. She says, do they have a dual immersion program in Cuba? And I said, why? She says, because they speak really good Spanish. I mean, just Cuba ranges right from blue eyes to just all colors. And she thought, wow, they speak really good Spanish. And I said, no, Mama, this is their language. There's all shades and colors, and this is their first language. She says, oh, wow, okay. I thought that they also went to special schools.
Right.
I said, oh, geez. And then just being part of the chamber.
Well, tell us a little bit. Our audience, if you're just joining in, we have Carol Robles here with us on our community podcast for the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. We're very blessed to have her here today. But tell us a little bit about how you got involved with the chamber.
So I came on board almost 5 years ago as a sales rep and a consultant for Paychex. And in the past, I worked in higher education, and I've always had a really soft spot for working and serving the Latino community. So I worked previously helping with financial aid and scholarships, and would attend AB 540 conferences at UCLA and different schools just to help educate on the resources that there are. So an opportunity came about here when I was out there. I was out there for 11 years, and one of my good friends shared with me about Paychex and that there was an opportunity for a multicultural rep to work with the Latino community. So I decided to take the opportunity, come on board, and looked for resources within the community to be able to connect. And I discovered the chamber. I remember the first breakfast event that I went to at Orange County. I was welcomed. Carlos Muñiz, Carlos Barahona, just John Gutierrez. Everybody was so welcoming. I thought, wow, I can't believe I get paid to do I can't believe I get paid to do this. I connected right away and asked, how can I become a member and what it looked like? And I haven't looked back since. It was amazing. A week after, I was invited to the Small Business Expo at the Fullerton Hotel. Tons of opportunities to connect and give back and be a part of. And I just felt as part of the family immediately. Yeah.
Well, we could tell. I mean, you were all in immediately, and you became our Ambassador of the Year in 2019, I believe.
Yeah, a year later.
Which is a huge award because, if anybody knows chambers, we have a board of directors, we have sponsors, we have corporates, we have nonprofits, but we're not anywhere without our ambassadors, people out there talking about the chamber, letting people know who we are and what we do. And so we truly appreciate your service to that. You were out yesterday at our golf tournament, volunteering in the hot sun. So we appreciate that. You're also involved in the toy drive too, right?
Yes. I've had the opportunity to participate, and it's moments like this that I find so rewarding. I think there's a bigger gift for me when we give. It's just so much greater to be able to give. Last year, I participated on behalf of the board of NHBWA, and we awarded scholarships to our students. And even when we're figuring out who's going to receive these scholarships, so to be on stage and award that scholarship on behalf of this nonprofit organization and just see how touched the student was, it's so moving. And that's where you're reminded of the difference, right? When we've taken out trips to Tijuana, to the orphanages, with Lucy, with the team that comes together. Some people are able to be there in person, and so many others are able to contribute from far. But just being there in those moments where you're face to face with these children and the smiles, these students, right, that are receiving these scholarships, I think that's the biggest piece where you think, I wouldn't trade this for anything. The toy drive is a huge signature event that I've had the honor of participating. That event is so much fun. And then it's that much more rewarding when we get to go deliver, right? When we get excited about everything that we were able to collect, and then being able to give it to these children. Again, going back to my childhood, I was a recipient of that, right? At the age of 10. And life gives you these moments, right? These learning moments. And I remember one year we received, right? Somebody sponsored us, and right, because we've done that, right? We sponsor the age of the child and what they want on their wish list, shoe size. And I remember one year we received gifts, and I remember we each of my siblings got 4 or 5 gifts. And my mom said, okay, everybody's going to choose a gift that has a higher need than we do. So I thought, wow, oh my gosh, I can't believe, right? And now I think back, right? At the moment, it was just second nature. Oh, okay, I've got 5. I'm going to give the smallest one, right? Or you just choose a gift because everything's wrapped anyway, so you don't know what you're really giving. But we went and handed it off a few blocks down where we lived. But those are those teachable moments where now as an adult, I think, wow, what a gift that we were taught to give even when we're in need. So I give my time. You get so much more back, and bringing my daughter with us. And this is all part of being connected to the chamber, these relationships that organically just develop. And I tell my husband, I said, gosh, I can't believe that, that I get paid to do what I do, because obviously, right, you get your check, but it's so much, there's so much more that I receive that I think, wow, it's only fair to give back, because
I think we're very blessed to live in the Orange County community and work, live, and play. And I think people like to collaborate here and work together. And that's one of the great things about our chamber. I grew up in LA County. So when I came down here, I got involved in this chamber. I didn't know anybody in Orange County, actually. We're just connected to a lot of great people like yourselves and others that want to work together and do stuff. So we're very fortunate to be able to do that and have you being an ambassador of us and all that. But
I love it.
Yeah. You work for Paychex, and I wanted to ask you something on it, because there's something that's, people think of just, Paychex, payroll company. Okay, you just process checks for payroll. But there's an important issue right now with a lot of our small businesses, like ERTC, and getting some money back that a lot of small businesses don't know about, which is, can you briefly touch on that? And there's a way they can come back to us and we can help them with that from our Small Business Development Center, Finance Center. But why don't you touch on it from the Paychex side, because you help those businesses kind of set that up and then get that money back. That it's not free money because it's with money earned, but talk to us about that a little bit.
Oh, that's been one of the most rewarding things, and because part of my role, right, in my position is to be able to build relationships with accountants, CPAs, tax attorneys, insurance agents, because they are the ones who are working with small businesses. And I was having a conversation with an accountant. I said, gosh, now I know how you feel when you deliver the news to your small businesses or to your clients, right, and say, hey, you're going to get a $7,000 tax refund, right, during tax season. How grateful they are to you because you're the one that helped them. I said, and now I've had the opportunity for the first time ever over this last year to make those phone calls. I've got a client here in Irvine who is receiving a refund of $880,000. That's been the biggest one for me. Almost $1 million that they're getting back in a refund. Right. My bankers are also sending me tons of business right now, because an $800,000 refund means that money's going to go into someone's business bank account, and banks love to have high balances. So in 2020, businesses just went through a rough time. The government stepped up and helped with the PPP loans, right? Yep. And now something that they have also done is that for businesses who have maintained their employees on payroll, they are receiving what is called an employee retention tax credit, right? As a form of saying thank you for keeping your people employed and not on government assistance or unemployment. Thank you. So initially it was businesses had to show a 20% drop in gross receipts from 2019 to 2020 to show that they were affected. But then they expanded that. So now there's 2 other additional ways that businesses are able to receive these tax credits. And it's a credit, but in form of a refund. So that's the nice thing about it. It's not just, you're going to get a credit and you don't get to pay taxes for this long. No. And it's going to take some time for them to get it, but they're going to get it. Now the second part of it that they've expanded it is businesses that were forced to shut down or make major modifications to their operations, right? One business that comes to mind is restaurants. Restaurants 100% had to shut down or make major modifications. So they are impacted without a question. And then the third one is the startup businesses, right? But the big one that I've seen a lot where we're seeing 325,000, 120, 78,000, right? These refunds is for those restaurants, right? That were affected from March 16th of 2020 up until June 15th of 2021. Paychex is helping by making all those calculations, and they charge just a standard flat fee per return that they have to go back and amend. So again, this client that's receiving this almost $1 million refund, they paid a little over $6,000 because it's just, it's flat rate. It's not a percentage. I've heard of brokers. I was talking to an accountant who said there was a broker who charges 10% up front or 30% after they receive their refund.
Oh, wow.
Could you imagine?
Yeah.
30% on 800,000 or even 10%. That's a lot of money. And they only paid. So if Paychex doesn't charge to do the calculation, so I've had a lot of businesses come over from other companies. And what we do is we have an extraction team. We pull all reports. We go through the calculations. And based on those numbers, then we will connect with the business owner and let them know these are the quarters, right, that were impacted. And obviously, there's an internal team that's well-versed that will also take into consideration if they receive PPP, has it been forgiven, all those details that come into place because you can't double dip. So they're very aware and prepared on how to handle. And they will charge just the standard fees per return that is amended. So it's been a huge blessing.
It's huge money. It's huge money to the bottom line of businesses who, like you said, since March 15th of 2020 have been impacted by
to mid-June
the pandemic
of the following year.
Yeah, and still today even they're still struggling. What do I do going forward? Right, we got the PPP loans, we got the EIDL. This tax credit is huge, and then even beyond that, what do they do? And so that's fortunately we get to work in a space with the Hispanic Chamber and our SBDC Finance Center of helping companies. We work with a lot of different banks and work with companies like yourselves as well, and just trying to help small business. So it's really gratifying that we're in this space, right? So it's not just about giving back to children, which is great, and scholarships that we did yesterday for golf, but also the small business owner, which is 95% of businesses in this country are small business owners, right? It's great. Is there anything else you want to share with us? I know we're getting close to the end of our time, but we want to make sure people know if there's anything else you want to share with us today.
Gosh, well, I'm in the business of connecting people, building relationships, and I find joy in helping, right? At whatever capacity. You plant seeds, and sometimes they sprout immediately, like the beans, and sometimes it takes a while. It takes a while, like an avocado tree. But you're planting seeds and making connections.
Okay.
So it's about helping small business. At the end of the day, it's helping small businesses because they have everything to lose. And if we don't step up and help them, it's easy to work for a company.
Right.
But when you're a small business, you have everything to lose. So I have so much respect and compassion for small business owners, and I absolutely love helping them in whatever capacity, whether it's introducing them to one of our local insurance brokers, agents, right? If we can help them, we help them. And if not, then it's going to be an intro to someone.
Well, that's awesome. How do people reach you for you to help them out?
Yeah. I can be reached on LinkedIn. Okay. Carol Robles. I can be reached on LinkedIn. Gosh, I'm active on Instagram and Facebook.
Okay.
But I would say on a professional level, I would say LinkedIn is the best.
Okay.
It would be would be the best tool to be connected.
Yeah. Well, that's great because, like you said, I think it's just we're very fortunate to be able to help out a lot of people.
Absolutely.
So that's great. Well, we're blessed to have you as an ambassador and a member, and Paychex being involved. And we don't succeed as a chamber without people like yourself. We're just I think we're a little bit different when it comes to that. Like you noticed that in the first breakfast you went to, and the
embrace.
Yeah, we're a little bit more family oriented. I think, kind of sense that or feel that.
100%.
We're part of a community that just likes to have fun, and if anybody
and that cares.
Yeah, that's right. If you weren't at the golf tournament yesterday, you would have seen that firsthand. How everybody was excited to see everybody, because we've been holed up for 2.5 years for the most part, and so it's been great. We're very excited to continue to have you as a member, as a leader, as well. We'd love to have you back sometime.
Yes, I'd love to come out. I got some ventures coming up on starting my own business. So as that unfolds and I continue in preparation, maybe I can come back and share where I'm at with some other big thing that you're doing, and trying to highlight. That'd be great too as well. Maybe it's the next toy drive, or it's the next venture down to the orphanages in Mexico. Yes, absolutely.
Or where life takes you, right? Because you're doing some great things out in the community, and we appreciate your leadership for that.
Thank you. Thank you for allowing me to serve.
Okay. Well, we just want to thank Carol Robles for being our guest today, a fabulous guest, and just a great person and leader for us here at the Orange County Hispanic Chamber. And thank you to our audience for joining us on our Orange County Hispanic Chamber podcast, because our community is your community.
Well, there you have it. Another great reason to tune in each and every time to meet our community, the Hispanic business community here in Orange County. Powered by the Orange County Hispanic Chamber of Commerce and Orange County's only community radio station, OC Talk Radio. Streaming live from our studios here at the University of California, Irvine's Applied Innovation Center.